Hello, I'm Christy, BA2 student from SHMS, and this video I will talk about my second internship experience and also what have I learned during my second internship. For my second internship, I go back to my hometown, Macau. Macau is a very small city, it's like an Eastern Las Vegas, mainly focused on hospitality industry, lots of hotels and casinos. And because nowadays they're developing very fast, which I think it will help me to develop my future career path. Macau is a place that union Chinese and the Western culture, because Macau used to be Portugal's colony, so the architectures, cultures, and foods also similar with Portugal. But I think the working style is very different from Portugal, and Macau is more like Hong Kong or China, always in a rush. In my second internship, actually mainly I work for Sheraton Grand Macau Hotel, but actually sometimes I need to work for St. Regis Macau as well because they are in the same group limit since China, and also under the same corporation Marriott. Sheraton Grand Macau is the biggest Sheraton all over the world. It has 4,001 rooms within the two buildings, and because of the amount of the room, therefore the number of associates and guests should be a lot too. And St. Regis Macau is a luxury hotel, quite different from Sheraton. St. Regis is more exclusive and grander, but it's much smaller than other hotels because they want to keep quiet environment, prevent many guests, and to catch the brand standard. For my first internship in Belgium, I did operational work, which is F&B. So at this time, I tried administrative work. Therefore, I chose to work in HR department. HR department has separated into many teams: compensation and benefit, associate relation, and also talent acquisition, etc. I work in TA team, which is about recruiting, mainly responsible for interview scheduling, paperwork, and CV collecting and candidate screening. I really enjoy working in Sheraton. Sometimes it's very boring because we all need to sit in the office, and when we have some events or recruitment days, I was actually having fun because get more opportunity to interact with the candidates, get to know more about them and how much they are passionate about the job. My second year in SHMS, I don't think I have much chance to get to know human resource department, just sales and marketing. So before I work in Sheraton as HR intern, I know nothing about human resource. But after I've worked in Sheraton for 1 month, I started to familiar with HR things, how things work within the HR department, like interview at the very beginning until give the offer to the candidates. And there's a lot of work between this process. And although I may not work in HR department in the future, but I did learn a lot in this past 6 months. Mainly interview scheduling is my responsibility, so I would get in touch with the candidates a lot. When they have some doubt about the job, they would ask me and I would deal with it as soon as I can. Also, when some new associates have some problem with their locker, name tag, or resign problem, etc., they would also look for me because I interact with them since they were candidates. So I think I'm like a mediator, like a middleman, solve their problems, and sometimes when I met them, I would chit-chat a little bit with them too. And I think I'm good at getting along with them, and they can count on me when they have problems. My colleague and my manager think my presentation skill is great because once I represented Sheraton Human Resource to promote our recruitment program, and they think I'm good enough as a Sheraton representative. And also I'm a well-planned person because I always have a clear mind about what I need to do and always finish it on time. Call screening and sit-in interview, these two are the most favored in my job responsibility. Call screening is the first step about the whole process to hire people, even before interview. And during screen calling, I can feel what kind of person they are. They're passionate about the position which they have applied and why they like to work as this position, why they want to join Sheraton. And during the conversation, Through phone, I get to know more about them before scheduling the official interview to the department head. And also, I like to do the sit-in interview because I can learn about how my colleagues interview other people and how the candidates' behavior and attitude when they were having the interview. In some situation, my manager will think that I can work better than a full-time employee. Like when I face some intern or freshmen, I think I kind of know what they were thinking because our age is almost the same, and if they talk to me, it should be more comfortable than talking to my colleague. During the past 6 months in Chatham Grammar School, I've met a lot of difficulties, but the most difficult things I've met, I think, is the company policy about Sheraton Grand Macau. Sheraton Grand Macau is such a big hotel in Macau. It's also under Marriott, and there are a lot of policy we need to remember all the time. And actually, hiring a people is not that easy. Before offering them, need to check if they will work under Marriott before. For how long are they resigned or terminated? Need to email or call the hotel and see if they are eligible for rehire and do the reference check, etc. Let me share a memorable experience. Once I remember a candidate used to work under Marriott, but he didn't tell us. Maybe he thought it's not a big deal for us, but before we do the contract signing, he suddenly told us that he used to work under Marriott. Like chit-chatting, how straight is he, blah blah blah. And then my colleague and I just ran out the meeting room immediately and called the hotel he used to work in. But luckily, he's eligible for rehire, and therefore we can continue the contract signing process. For me, it's a great experience. I get to know how important the company policy is, and it's not easy to work in such a big corporation. While I was working in Sheraton, my director always enrolled me to a lot of courses, mainly about how to communicate with people, the skills of email writing and interview skills, etc. And I think those are very helpful, and not only just for me, for my university, but also for my future career path. In the past 6 months, I have met a lot of good people, especially the colleague who sat next to me. Although she's not my supervisor, she always gives me advice that how to do works in a better way, in a well-organized way. And I remember that one day I finished my work on time, but it's not perfect enough. And she praised me that I have working efficiency, but I can be more careful. Just take some time to pay attention to some details. In the past 6 months, I have met a lot of difficulties, not only the company things like I have mentioned the company policy. When I face the candidate and new associates, I also have difficulties too. For example, when some documents forget to be signed, I would call back the candidate or associate to come back to sign. Although sometimes I could feel they were very annoying and they would forget about this kind of things, but I still need to call them back to sign the documents, and not just once, several times. So kind of like an annoying person. Although I have experienced a lot in this past 6 months and I have learned a lot, but I think that interns who work in back office don't have much opportunity to do some deeper job. For example, something about contract that confidential, they won't allow you to participate in because they think maybe you just stay here for 6 months and it's not worth to teach you so many things because you will leave anyway. But sometimes I still try my best to do my own job, my job responsibility, and when I'm free I will try to talk to them to give me extra job to learn something new. But anyway, I still learn a lot of things during this past 6 months. And that's all about my second internship experience in Macau.